Đây là chương trình Khéo dùng tiền của đài Little Sài Gòn TV. Chúng tôi là luật sư Tony Nguyễn, CPA. Xin kính chào quý vị.
Tôi là Ngọc Tình Nguyễn, Vice President của Unity Bank. Xin kính chào quý vị.
Kính thưa quý vị, hôm nay chúng tôi xin được chào đón sự trở lại của luật sư Norman Feirstein. Ông là một luật sư rất là có tiếng trong cộng đồng Việt Nam của mình. Nhưng mà có lẽ chắc quý vị biết nhiều hơn hết là cái người vợ của ông ta là chị Hansen. Chị là người quản lý cái văn phòng của ông Feirstein. Một lần nữa chúng tôi xin được chào đón sự trở lại. Welcoming back Attorney Norman Feirstein. Please introduce yourself, with the audience.
Thank you very much, and thank you for listening today.
Thank you. Welcome back.
Well, last time we talked about the LLC, difference between LLC and corporation, and we spent a lot of time talking about the nuances of LLC. But today, I think we should focus on the difference between LLC and corporation. So, Norman, what are the major differences between LLC and corporation?
Well, let me first point out that in 1995, the LLC legislation came into place. Before that time, we talked about whether someone should have a regular C corporation or an S corporation. And the S corporation has become somewhat obsolete now that we have the LLC. And the advantage for a person or a husband and wife who set up an LLC is that they can report all of the results of their operations, income and loss, directly on their personal income tax return, and that saves them a lot of extra paperwork.
So, according to you, it means the people, they should, which one is they should get the LLC for the husband and wife or the S corp? Which one is better?
LLC today gives a lot more choices. So if you have other partners involved with you, then the LLC could file as a partnership as far as the tax return is concerned. So the LLC gives the investor, the owner, a lot of good choices to either file on his individual tax return so that he doesn't have to file a separate tax return, or he can file as a corporate entity or a partnership entity. So depending upon the situation, it's always a good idea to make a wise decision on which way you're going to file.
But do we have to pay extra tax if we have the LLC? We have to pay the state tax?
There's no income tax for an LLC, but there is an annual tax that's a franchise tax. So every entity in the state of California pays $800 for its existence, whether it's a corporation, a partnership, an LLC. They all pay the $800.
It's only in California.
Well, other states have other.
They have their own rule. Kính thưa quý vị, ông Feirstein vừa nói quý vị là cái luật LLC nó bắt đầu từ năm 1995. Thì lúc đó là tiểu bang, that's a federal, the LLC, that's federal law.
Federal legislation.
Yes, legislation. Thì lúc đó cái năm 1995 bắt đầu có cái luật LLC, thì nó làm cho những cái hình thức S corporation không còn hiệu quả nữa. Tuy nhiên ông Norman có nói là cái LLC nó có cái lợi là trong cái LLC đó, lúc mà quý vị set up cái LLC, quý vị có thể lúc khai thuế mình có thể hai hình thức như là corporation cũng được, hoặc là partnership cũng được, và ngay cả cá nhân cũng được, tùy theo cái sự lựa chọn của mình, tức là cái election lúc mình chọn làm sao mình khai cái thuế.
The LLC is the recommended form of doing business today for most people, but professional people like lawyers and doctors and dentists, CPAs and architects, they cannot file as an LLC, nor can foreign investors. So there are some restrictions.
What is the reason behind it?
Because the LLC establishes no liability beyond what you invest in the entity for the person forming it. But if you're a professional person, you cannot set up a corporation to protect yourself from your negligence. So that's why professionals are excluded. But there are a lot of great benefits for the average person to set up an LLC, and you want to consult with your professional on this. But for example, people who have a lot of medical bills to pay on a yearly basis, and of course everyone's medical insurance premiums are very high today. If you have a high income, then when you file your personal income tax return, you lose the advantage of deducting those medical expenses. But if you have an LLC, you can take all of those expenses. Same with a regular corporation. You can take all of those expenses. There's other things such as the Social Security tax. As an individual, if you file your tax return, you have to pay self-employment. That's Social Security. But you can only deduct 1/2 of it as an expense. But if you have an LLC, you can take full advantage and deduct all of it.
Oh,
You mentioned foreign investors should not also use or are not allowed to use LLC as an entity.
That's correct. We have people who are overseas who are doing business here, some buying shopping centers, for example, and they have no choice. If they want to have a corporation, it's going to have to be a regular C corporation. They cannot use an S corporation and they cannot use an LLC.
That is a very good point, because right now I've seen people from overseas come over and just form an LLC, and we may a little confused about it, because I've seen people from another country, but they come and they have an LLC. I really appreciate it, and you bring that point up today.
But if you have an existing LLC with a U.S., formed by a U.S. citizen or resident, can you admit a foreign investors coming in this country and with a valid tax ID?
I haven't researched that. That's an interesting question. I
That's a good
believe that if you're not a citizen, you cannot be admitted.
Kính thưa quý vị, ông Norman vừa mới nói cho quý vị là cái LLC đó nó rất là có lợi thuế. Hồi nãy chúng tôi có nói là quý vị chọn lựa bất cứ hình thức nào cũng được. Tuy nhiên những người như là professional, như là luật sư, bác sĩ, kiến trúc sư thì thường không được xài LLC mà chỉ được xài những hình thức khác. For professional is the LLP, right? Instead of LLC, like you said, cannot use LLC for professional.
They have a choice. They can have LLP, which is a limited liability partnership, or they can have a regular corporation. In either case, they're still personally responsible for any negligence, but they would be able to rely on the corporate protection for other types of debts that are not related to their professional work, such as leaving a tenancy and still owing money to a landlord.
I see.
They may be able to absolve themselves of that type of debt through, let's say, a bankruptcy.
I think that's a good point. Our audience know about that. If you don't mind translate that, I think it's a very good point.
Vâng, kính thưa quý vị, hồi nãy ông Norman chúng tôi có nói là những cái hình thức như là LLP đó, LLC nó không có được, những người professional không được xài cái đó. Tại vì quý vị cũng biết là cái LLC là một hình thức mà làm ăn mà nó giới hạn cái trách nhiệm của những người members, hoặc là ở trong cái LLC thì là chính phủ liên bang như tiểu bang không muốn những người professional như là bác sĩ, luật sư, kỹ sư set up những cái LLC để mà trốn trách nhiệm với lại những người khách hàng của mình hoặc là investor của mình.
I think I really like that point, because there's a lot of people make a mistake on it.
Yeah.
And
Well, we're hitting the broad strokes here. We're not getting into all the fine points, but when we talk about professional people, for example, if you set up a limited liability partnership for a group of professionals, maybe it's lawyers with offices in 2 or 3 different cities. If you're in Sacramento and your partner is in Los Angeles and he commits some type of negligence, the partner in Sacramento will not be responsible for that negligence that occurred in a different office.
oh, okay. So that's another good point too. It's a different office. You are not responsible for it.
Right.
If you have a limited liability partnership.
I
think
see.
all the
And that's for
lawyer, right?
professional people. Yes. We heard the term single member LLC, and also sometimes when you apply for or form an LLC, the IRS will ask you if you are husband and wife. Explain the ramification of single member LLC and husband and wife LLC. But let's pause here and we have to come back after introduction of chúng tôi xin ngừng ở đây và xin trở lại quý vị trong giây phút sau khi giới thiệu những người bảo trợ chương trình. Xin quý vị đừng rời máy.